Yeah! Welcome to another episode of Three Conservative Gimps. I almost said Artco? Yeah, Art's Place, but it's Three Conservative Gimps. We've got a great show today. Special announcement. Mike won't be joining us today. He's got a prior commitment, so he'll be back with us next week. So we've got a great show today. We've got lots to talk about. So let's get this show going and bring up my co host all the way from Muskogee, Oklahoma. It is Lloyd Mendenhall. Welcome, welcome, Lloyd.
How do, Art? How do? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It's mild and sunny here before the Arctic blast. It's gonna start tomorrow, probably late tomorrow. We're gonna be in the 30s tomorrow, and we'll start getting some snow. And then Tuesday and Thursday, we will have the highs in the mid teens with the below zero weather at night.
Yeah, I want to tell you in advance that you can bite me for sending us your crappy weather because they're predicting your crappy weather coming our way later in the week. So, but right now it's we're under high fire danger because we got high winds and we got low humidity, and I think I just wore a light jacket when I went out today, and it was almost too much. So it was like 60. Just looked over here, 67 degrees currently.
Wow.
Yeah, friggin' gotta love the weather, and it's. I figure it's caused by two things. Well, it's caused by the same thing, but it has two effects. The more the blowhards in Washington talk, the hotter the air gets.
Yep.
And then they start sucking wind and they take all the heat out and we get the frigid air. So blame it on the politicians in Washington. It's all their fault.
Yep.
Yeah.
I blame it on Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez because she blows.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, my God, that is the most clueless individual in the world. I watched something the other day about her, and it's just like, I just can't believe that anybody. I mean, her idea of what is good content to help her constituents and help the people of the United States that she is serving at our behest or at the behest of at least her constituents is to give makeup tips on TikTok.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. She talks about blending. I mean, this is a congresswoman. And I use that, or a congressperson. I don't know, a congress-it. I don't know what she's going by this week. But it's like, are you friggin' kidding me? Makeup tips? Really? Like, you're in one of the worst areas in the United States and unemployment is ridiculous, and you're telling them how to put on their makeup. You're right. And I'm sure the guys really appreciate it. Well, I don't know. There's, over on the Democrat side, there are some that might appreciate it more than others,
Well,
Anyways.
Lloyd, she's always telling people everybody wants to have sex with me.
Yeah, I saw that. Like, she was like, I'm going, no, nobody wants to have it with you. My God, you're the skankiest broad up there, like, really? Jeez. She thinks a lot of herself,
we got a congresswoman here in Colorado, Lauren Boebert, that's a lot hotter than her. And she's got more upstairs than she does.
Yes, and she carries a gun.
This woman runs Shooter's Grill up in Rifle, Colorado.
Yes. Yeah. I've been watching her since she first hit the news way back when, before she ever thought of running, Yep. And I was just impressed, and she helps out. I mean, she did a lot for the people, for the waitresses that worked for her, or the wait staff that worked for her, and she helped them get their license. Helped them get qualified. She made sure that they had gun training. She even bought guns for some of them that couldn't afford it.
Wow,
so
that's amazing.
Yeah,
and another thing, she leads all congressional people, especially on the Republican side, in fundraising.
Oh, I have no doubt. She's got to be. She could, given time, a little more experience, I could see her running for the Senate and eventually maybe running for a vice president or presidential spot. I see her more as she'd make an excellent vice president and get that experience under her, and then because come on, we need to, as a party, get rid of all the old fogies in the party, and and us being old fogies. I don't want my kids and grandkids being led by another person like Joe Biden, that's old and senile. And it's time for us to start electing presidents in the Conservative Party that actually have some longevity to them. Let's start.
Like Barack Obama.
Yeah, well, that was
He
on
was
the
only
wrong
in
side.
his 40s. I think he was a little bit older than
John Kennedy.
JFK when he
Yeah,
got
yeah,
elected.
yeah. And I mean, nothing against President Trump. I think the world of him. There's times I wished, he would shut up, but then there's times that he probably wishes I would shut up if he even knew who I was. So,
Yep.
but and hello, Grant and Chris. I did say hi to you in the chat. I forgot to say hi to Grant, but yeah, it's like it's. But Hortensio Cortez, that just it's what is it they call her now?
Occasional quartet.
No. They instead of calling her AOC, she goes by a different name. What is her first name? Alexandria. Yeah, they call.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they call her Sandy or something like that. Her friends do, because I watched this thing and it was like showing how stupid of a person she really was, and it was on YouTube and it was one of the conservative groups, and I'm going, oh my
Yeah.
God.
Well, speaking of Trump, have you noticed when he was president, we had low gas prices. We had peace around the world.
Yeah,
Ukrainians, they weren't worried.
Ukraine. Yeah,
We were energy independent. We had low unemployment. Uh,
I'm laughing at what Chris wrote up about her. Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
That's good. That's good.
But yeah, so speaking of Biden, things are getting they're getting very tense in
Yes.
Ukraine. There's been some, sporadic gunfire going on
Yeah.
along the border.
There's been some rocket launches and stuff like that, and those are by separatists, Russian supporting separatists, or Russian backed, as they said. They're backed by the Russians inside the country. And I was just listening to. Nice thing about my new van is it's got satellite radio, so I have it on Fox News, so I can get the updates whenever I go to the store. I can hear exactly what's going on Fox News, and they were talking today, and the president of Ukraine is saying, "You keep saying that Vladimir Putin and the Russians are going to invade, and that when they do, you'll do something about it. Why don't you do something about it now? You say it's imminent." Well, and as has been explained, why punish them if we're still working on negotiating? Because if we punish them, they'll say, what the hell, we might as well do it anyways,
Mm-hmm.
So we're keeping that, but it's, and I listened to, I heard a snippet of what Biden said, and, it just was, and of course, Kamala has been over speaking to the Chancellor of Germany, and blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
but they're all like, we're gonna give strong sanctions
to talk about their borders, but she won't go down to our southern border to do
and
something
talk about it.
that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, they're going to do exactly what they've done with our southern border. They're going to stand back and watch it roll through. They're not going to do anything. At the most, they're going to put in sanctions that are terrible and the worst sanctions we've ever had to use in our lives. And horse pucky.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You ain't got the cojones to do anything. I mean, actually, I think Kamala has more cojones than Biden does.
Yeah. Just
You know,
not the good kind.
exactly.
And that's what takes me off about this whole thing. And part of me, I understand we need a stable Europe.
Yes.
And Biden's talking about if there's an incursion in the Ukraine, uh, I guess he's threatening to stop that gas pipeline. I don't know if he's going to destroy that pipeline or what they're going to do. Hopefully, it's not like Obama's threat about the red line.
Yeah, yeah, the crossing the red line in the sand. Yeah, it's and it probably is, or even less. But just as an idea of where how serious this is, yesterday, President Putin had he participated in readiness exercises and with their military troops, and they, it was basically a parade, and he stood up there and saluted, whatever he does, but. Or he put on a uniform, rode in the front tank. He does stuff like that.
Yeah.
At least he's got. He's the only thing I can say about Putin is at least he's a manly president compared to the last.
Yes, he is.
Especially Obama and Biden.
Mm-hmm.
But they also showed off their nuclear capabilities in that parade. They showed off their short range nuclear missiles. And I'm going, we don't want to go there, folks.
Yep.
And that's where I heard that. I'm thinking, this friggin' idiot, idiot in chief is going to get us nuked. That's what it's going to come down to at the rate he's going, because he's so, which would fit perfectly with the socialist and Marxist and anarchist rules that the far left wants. They want anarchy. They want chaos. They want it because that would destroy all of our governments, and then we'd have this,
Yeah, and then they could come
dystopia,
in and
utopia.
and, yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Right. Yep.
So it's like
it's part of the reason why the gas prices are so high. Have you noticed? Oil is up almost to $100 a barrel.
I hadn't seen that, but I did hear that the average price of gas and this was in a local Oklahoma station, said it was like $3.50 a gallon.
Yep.
I'm going,
mm-hmm.
Wow. I was a year ago. I was paying, just a little longer, about 13 months ago. I was paying $1.69 a gallon.
Yep.
Then it jumped to $1.79. Then it went to it's two. Now the last time I bought gas was $2.99 a gallon, and they were and that's the cheapest place in town. And next I saw that they were at $3.05. We've gone from $1.69 to $3.05 just in this 13 months.
Yep. It doubled since
Obama. Biden.
Biden.
You said it. Biden. Yeah, Biden.
Biden. Yeah.
Yeah. President Biden.
Yep. So I filled up my car yesterday, and it was 305, but there were several other stations that were 315, 319. There's a Shell station. It jumped up to 339 a gallon, and then it dropped down to 319 yesterday. So.
Yeah. It's just horrendous, and I mean it's I heard I think it was Friday I was out and I was listening, and they were talking that he's trying to do something to help with the runaway inflation rate. Like, really? You're just now starting to do something? But they're talking in the price of gas. They're talking about actually dropping the federal gasoline tax.
Yeah.
So,
which is not really going to do much.
It'll help for a little bit because it's like 15, 16 cents a gallon.
Yep.
So,
yep.
that will add up and it'll help. I mean, it'll drop it back below $3 a gallon, maybe, if we're lucky.
Yeah.
But I mean, out in California, I think they're like $4 a gallon or more now.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing that I'm worried about is if they do that, then there's not going to be any road improvement done. It's like,
yeah,
our roads are already pretty crappy, especially around the Denver area.
Oh, Muskoge's got terrible roads, and they've
Yeah.
just in this last 6 months started, not really repaving. They're not stripping it down. They're just putting a thin layer of asphalt and oil together,
Yeah.
and it's kind of it makes it look nice, and it kind of smooths out the bumps a little bit,
Right. Yeah, here in Colorado,
Wow.
goes back several years where the Democrats they're taking money from the highway fund and they're
Right.
putting it into social programs. And that's why the road, and it's not just here in Colorado, it's around the country where
Yeah.
state legislatures are taking money from the highway funds and funding their little social programs. And it's
Right.
like, well, crap, let's get these roads fixed up
Yeah.
because
Well,
you guys are bitching and moaning about uh, greenhouse gases. What do you think bad roads do? They cause greenhouse gases because cars are having to work harder and it's
yeah.
wearing out cars
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
causing uh, cars to use more energy and spewing out more uh,
Yeah.
carbohydrates
And
and
they're trying to get rid of they're trying to get rid of the fossil fuel
internal
vehicles
combustion
in
engine.
internal combustion. But we all know that they're going to be around into the far future. I mean, look at Mad Max. I mean, they were driving them all over the place in Mad Max. That's
Yeah.
just a prediction of the future. So,
Hmm.
and in the end of it, when you think about it, that's probably closer to truth because the internal combustion will be the only thing that will run because uh, the electricity infrastructure won't be there after because if let's say it's a nuclear holocaust for some reason and we manage to survive that,
Yep.
uh,
It'll fry the grid.
it'll fry the grid. Yeah, there will be no place to plug in your electric car.
Yep.
These knobheads have not even thought about that. It's just like,
Yep.
or I mean, look what happened down there in the South when that they got cyber attacked and it took out their whole power grid down there. And
Yep.
that's all it takes.
Mhm.
And guess what? No electricity, no plug-in in car.
Yep. Yep.
Friggin' knotheads.
Oh, and it'll take out wind power generators and
Yep,
it'll take out the solar power grid because what it'll do is it'll
you're right,
fry
Chris.
those solar cells.
Yeah, Chris says we are not ready for all electric cars, not even
Yep.
close. And he's right. I mean, we do not have the infrastructure. And of course that's what the Super Bowl. That's part of what their commercials were. They were
Yeah,
pushing the electric.
especially with
It's like,
Donald and Selma Hayek.
yeah, 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 yeah. That that's all fine. Those guys are pushing forth those electric cars because they think of the Jetsons or they think of, some of the other sci-fi movies that were, some of the other sci-fi movies where they had those electric cars. That's fine, but in the reality of it, when the push comes to shove, if everything, goes to hell in a handbasket, we're probably going to be closer to Mad Max than we are to some of the other, maybe will probably be a combination of Soylent Green and Mad Max,
Yeah. All
And
right. Well, speaking of turmoil, have you been following what's going on in Canada?
oh yeah,
Yep. The
that guy is,
we call him the prime miniature.
yeah, or the prime immature, as I said last night on your
Yeah,
show, the
prime.
prime
Yeah.
immature,
Right.
because that
Mhm.
guy. I watched what happened when they started bringing in the horses and the police to push them out. There was an old lady on a scooter, a little electric scooter, and she had her walker on back. They ran her down with the horses and trampled on her.
Oh
That
boy.
is inhumane. That's unnecessary. You know, they could have picked her. They could have picked her scooter up and carried her. They did not need to run her down with a horse, and they didn't need to be doing that because they're unlike the peaceful protesters we had here last summer or the summer before. The BLM group. These people have been peaceful. Yeah, the prime dictator. Exactly. This guy is, and he doesn't even have a majority, you know. And I look every day at, you know, keep updated on what's going on, and the fact that our president and our State Department isn't raising hell about this is beyond me, because they are our closest civilized so-called neighbors that we have, because down in the South, Mexico is run by the drug cartels. In the conversation, that's who runs it now, and which I find absolutely sad, because Judy and I used to love to go down to Mexico, but it's not that way anymore. But for a peace-loving people that, you know, their catchphrase was "sorry," you know, for Trudeau to do what he's doing, and this is the first time they didn't even use the Emergency Powers Act during 9/11.
Yeah, and that's true. That's true.
You know, this is the first time it's been.
They're not at a war. There's no riots going on. It's a peaceful protest. No buildings being burned or destroyed.
Trudeau is being Putin Jr.
Yep.
He's another socialist dictator, just, you know, and I'm not for violence, but I think if, I don't know, if a stray piece of glass were to go flying through and accidentally cut his jugular, I mean, it would be a tragedy. Mm-hmm. It would be terrible. I would be saddened that it came to that, but.
Yep.
What do you do with...
It's amazing what's going on over there. It's like, and he's doing the same thing our president's doing. He's dividing the country.
Yeah, he is the most. And here's the other thing: where are the conservatives that should be? You know, why hasn't the conservatives started calling for a vote of no
I'm sure that's going to be coming around pretty soon. Did you hear what he called? One of the chamber members
said you stand by the swastika. And and her grandparents were Holocaust survivors. Yeah. And you know, and this is the thing, we are it seems to be okay to use anti-Semitic remarks now, you know. And
only on the left.
Yeah, they seem to be getting by with it, but you know, you know, why are the Jewish people not standing up and raising hell about this? You know,
and that's the other thing that boggles my mind is, of all the people that've been helping minorities, it's the Jewish people.
Yes,
and
they were
the Democrat Party that's
attacking them.
Yep.
Is anti-Israel, and this whole Trudeau thing, it just sickens me. This guy is, I mean, they've got pictures of him doing blackface, not once or, you know, but more than once. I mean, it's just everything that his party is supposed to stand for, he has offended, you know. He's offended the minorities. You know, it's just.
I think he should be going back to drawing Doonesbury.
Yeah. I think that was a different Trudeau, but, you know.
Yeah, that was Gary, I believe.
Gary, yeah. Well, he would do a better job, I think, as prime minister than...
Isn't that Jane Pauley's husband?
I don't know.
Did she marry the guy that was the...
She might have.
Yeah, I think he passed away.
Yeah, I was going to say he died. Yeah, I think he died. Yeah. Chris says he's a young Biden. He is. He's taken the worst of what Biden's doing right now, and he's doing. And this is the problem when you get, these young people that are so misguided like this.
Mhm.
He's just being a dictator.
Yeah.
Actually, you can drop the tater part.
Mhm. Yeah.
We'll let that. We'll let you fill in the blanks, okay?
You know what, Lloyd? I think Justin Trudeau needs to uh, disavow his Reich privilege.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, I can't believe it, One, I can't believe how successful the Freedom Convoy was, but I can't believe the draconian measures that are being used by Trudeau. And, you know, how did he get by with even invoking the Emergency Powers Act?
I don't know. I think he just needed approval from the parliament, and they gave it to him. I'm surprised that the Conservative Party didn't
Yeah, and
just
see this. Yeah, and that's what's because they
and
weren't.
all it would take is 50 plus one, to pass the. What they should have done is they should have made it to where, all right, if you want to invoke emergency powers, it's got to be by a super majority. And
Yeah,
then it
yeah,
would
and
make it harder for anybody to do something like this. And I think they didn't think that far. They just said all you need is a simple majority
yeah,
and you got it. And I think his coalition at the time was probably, just big enough to
yeah,
grant
yeah,
him those powers.
yeah,
Because I
yeah,
don't
and
think the conservatives would,
yeah.
if they had
Well,
more power, they would have stopped it.
I mean, I understand that they put that in place for certain things, but I thought they would still have to. He couldn't just have it sitting there for the lifetime and then all of a sudden say, "Oh, today I'm going to use it."
Yeah.
To me, it should, and I think they should revoke that power from him. And they should do it immediately because,
Hmm.
and then if he doesn't do it, they remove him from office. In any
Hmm.
means possible. If that means sending in and this new chief of police that Ottawa has, he's nothing but a
Right.
a Reich Marshal, as far as I'm
Oh,
concerned.
okay. I thought you were going to say hound dog.
Yeah, well, yeah,
He ain't nothing but.
but a hound dog. Yeah, no, yeah, he's that too. Now he's using really far. He's using excessive force because what is it hurting? It's annoying to
Hmm.
have those horns honking. Okay,
Hmm.
but what is it
Oh,
hurting?
and they're threatening those Sikh restaurant people that are donating food. And not only that, they had GoFundMe shut down any donations. However,
Oh,
they have gotten around that. There's another uh, crowdsourcing site, and
well,
they're getting funds.
and that's exactly part of the Emergency Powers Act. Is now they can confiscate any money.
Yep. Hmm.
And
They
the
could
other
freeze
thing
their
is
bank accounts.
freeze
They
their bank
could take
accounts,
away their license.
license.
They
Yeah,
could take away their mortgages if
yeah. And
they.
here's the funny thing: what are they going to do with all the unemployed?
Yeah,
What are they
that's
going to do
right.
and how are they going to get things shipped? And
Yep.
I guarantee you, there's some tow truck drivers out there that are going to be losing their jobs when this is all over, because
Yep.
they will not be able to. Nobody will call them. They'll make sure that that's the last tow truck company that gets called. There's going to be some going out of business from this.
Yep.
Those
Yep.
that went ahead and backed it. Although, from what I understand, some of those tow truck companies were being threatened with shutdown by the government. I mean, this is. I mean, if this can happen in Canada, what's the rest of the world got
Yeah.
going for it?
And
This.
you gotta remember their style of government is not like ours. It's a
That's
parliamentary system.
it's
They
parliamentary
don't
system.
have
Yeah,
all the rights that we have. They don't
right,
have a
right.
First Amendment. They don't have a Second Amendment. Uh,
They do have some things in it's called in their charter because that rather than a constitution they have a charter, and I was listening to a lot of the truckers, and they do have the right of free speech. They have the right to peacefully assemble and to peacefully protest. That is part of their Canadian charter.
well, then how did they go after Mark Stein when he was talking about these Muslim extremists? They were calling, "Hey, you can't do that. That's hate speech." And
Well, the same way they're now they have the right. Whether they actually get to use it now is a different story. And there's certain and I haven't read their charter. I'm just going by what I haven't read it all. I've read some of it, but and that's something I'll probably look into. Maybe I can talk about it next week when I've read a little bit more about their charter system. But my understanding, from what I'm hearing, is that they do have the right to peacefully protest as part of the Canadian Charter, which is their version of a constitution. So, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, they don't have a Bill of Rights like we do, but they do have
yeah,
a lot of the rights that are in the Bill of Rights. And here's another thing. Push comes to shove because they are still part of the British Commonwealth.
yep,
At some point, can the Queen step in and ask the Prime Minister to step down?
that'd be interesting. Yeah. hmm I'm
Because
surprised it hasn't happened in Australia because they were really tough on the lockdowns, and there were a lot of people squawking over there, but I didn't
yeah,
see any truckers,
Grant says yes, she can.
Oh, okay, that's good. That's good.
Okay. So that's an option. They might have the head of the Conservative Party appeal to the Queen, and then the Queen can require Trudeau to reform his
Mm-hmm.
government, and then when he can't reform that government, and like I said, my parliamentary, and that's why I asked that, and I figured if Grant knew but yeah, she can step in. Okay, so she could require him to step down because that's happened in other cases. I think in the case of Australia, that was their lockdowns were successful. They were,
Yeah.
there was a lot of people squawking, but there was a lot of people saying, they were bitching about it, but they were saying they also showed. In the end, they've had to remove a lot of those lockdowns and let people get sick so that they could get that herd immunity that's needed, like we're getting
Mhm.
here. I mean, I went to the store today. I did put on a mask, but 90% of the people, I bet there was 100 people in that store, and I'll bet there were only 10 of us wearing masks.
Yeah. Well, since the mask mandates uh, dropped here in Jefferson County, I haven't worn a mask at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
what a
uh, we
But
never had
wait
mask
until
mandates.
next winter when we get
Yeah.
another flu season. Then they're going to
Yeah.
have they're going to evoke that, and this is
Yeah.
where people need to elect Republicans,
Right. Right.
especially on county commissioners, because they're the ones that appoint people to the boards. Like the health and health board, and
Yeah.
they're the
I.
ones that bring down the mandates. What goes on
Yeah.
in the county? Just
Well, in
like they
Oklahoma.
appoint people to the housing authority and the different boards. They're county-wide boards. There's even an open space board, and you won't believe this, Lloyd. There's a board for inclusion.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm like Casper Stockham, where we need to get more of our people on these boards, especially the inclusion boards. If we could get a majority on that board, we could shut those boards down. We could say,
Yeah,
we're dissolving this board. We're
yeah,
done.
yeah. See,
You
we
know?
don't, in Oklahoma, of course, we got a predominantly conservative state, and
Hmm.
the Republicans have been running the state for. Hello, Doc Murdoch.
Hey, Doc.
The Republicans have been running our state now for a good 10 years, at least the last 8 years, and Grant says the Willem government in the early 70s was fired by the Queen through the Governor General. So,
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Well, thanks, Chris. Thanks for that update.
oh, and Doc Murdoch just put a link to
Yep,
uh, for
for the
that
prime miniature.
with the Queen if she wanted to. So,
Hmm.
yeah, because that was a question, and
Yep.
so yeah, it's I'll look into that and thank you, Chris, because that's you know Doc is he's one of the best people of knowing the details and doing takes a lot for the Queen to step in, though. Yeah, that's true. I don't think she's going to she may decide, she's getting kind of old and cranky. She may get her knickers in a twist and say to hell with it,
Hmm.
instead of having a Queen's holiday, she'll just uh instead of celebrating the Queen changes her knickers day, she's going to say, let's do away with the Trudeau Day.
You know what? She got her son to renounce his title. Prince Andrew is no longer a prince. He
Really,
had to
I did.
renounce his military titles because of
Well,
his involvement with the
involvement with
Epstein.
Epstein. Yeah, I knew
Yep.
he'd stepped down from all of his offices, but I thought he still was able to keep his like he's still Prince Andrew, but he's not
Yeah, he
his royal
cannot go to
his royal highness.
fundraisers, and he
Yeah,
cannot use his
he's got
title anymore.
yeah. So he's lost his title completely, or is he just lose it
I
in?
don't know if he's lost it completely, but
Yeah. Well, yeah,
he's
he was
in.
removed. Yeah, yeah, and she has that right. I mean,
Mhm.
he's not he's not Duke of this or Duke of that.
Yeah.
He's Prince Andrew, the Queen's son. It's just like George, was it George the Fifth? He had a daughter. She was Princess of the Realm. She was never going to be. She was never going to be. Even when she married, she was still Princess of the Realm. And because he gave her the title, that was a special title for her. It was his only daughter, and she married and was married for like 65 years, and to her husband. But that was a title he gave to her because one, it was his only daughter, and she lived into the God, I don't know, into the 60s, I think, and
Yeah.
she was always she was always Princess, whatever her name was, because even though she married and because she was not a direct heir to the throne,
Oh,
uh, she was the youngest sister of Edward VIII and George VI and whatever many others they had.
I'm
And
Henry VIII.
yeah, no, Edward VIII. Henry VIII
Oh,
was
oh,
Henry VIII was about 200 years earlier, or about
yeah.
400 years earlier. Yeah, yeah. No, Edward VIII is the king uh, that was never crowned.
Oh, yeah. That's
He
because he
he stepped down.
married.
He abdicated to marry Margaret Simpson. Yeah,
Yeah. Mhm.
yeah,
The
and became
Simpsons.
he became Duke of. I can't remember what title he ended up at, and they
Yeah,
shipped,
so his brother stepped in, and he
which
was
was
king.
Elizabeth's father. Yeah,
Yeah,
his
so he
brother
was
stepped in.
king
That was
up
George VI.
until let's see,
1952.
52.
Yeah, about
Yeah,
52. Yeah,
yeah.
and that's when Elizabeth became queen, uh, and she's been. They've had one monarch.
Yeah, she's been there. She has already surpassed Her
Victoria,
what?
her great grandma.
Yeah, great grandma. Yeah,
Yeah, or her great
because she
grandmother. I can't
reigned
remember.
from what 1840s to about 1900 something.
1906, I think. I might be
Okay,
wrong, but
I think
yeah,
you might be close.
it,
You may be
I'm
in the
close.
ballpark,
I'm within. Yeah, I'm within a couple of years, give or take.
plus or minus 5, 10 years.
Yeah. It was 1900 something, but I can't. I
Right.
can't off the top of my head. I used to know all these facts, but as I get older, some of these facts have been. I
Yeah, I
don't.
think you need to defrag your hard drive. Your
I
hard
do, man.
drive
I do.
is
It's full of. It's full of
it
crap, and I can't figure
yeah.
out how to get rid of the crap.
Mhm.
So the good stuff
Well,
is, gets
yeah,
pushed to the side.
useless information.
Yeah, my head's full of all sorts of useless information. Yeah.
Same here. I know so much trivia and stuff, and I'll say, "Hey, did you know?" And I'm kind of like the Cliff Clavin of the drone
Yeah.
world,
Yeah.
except I
Yeah.
wouldn't go on Jeopardy and bet everything and get it
No.
wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you would just bet, what 99 something, I think
Yeah.
you would have won. But
He would have won. Yeah.
oh, I think yeah, that's right, Chris. You need a little poo
Yeah,
powder to
That's it right
clear
there.
out.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
there's what I used to do was
I need more RAM, that's for damn sure.
yeah, when I had a mechanical hard drive that wasn't working, I'd put it in the freezer for 24 hours and then take it out.
Yep.
It worked. I heard about this. I think it
Yeah,
was
I'd
on
heard about it. Yeah.
YouTube. And I'm like, see if this will work. And I'm like going, holy shit, it does work.
Yeah.
Wow.
The best thing to do with a hard drive like that, though, that quits working, you put it in the freezer and then you take it out and it works. Transfer everything off of it onto an SSD or another hard drive to make sure you've got a backup. Which
Yep.
that's. I
Or
talked
if
to
it already
Greg.
has a bunch of junk on it, just
Delete
reformat
the.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
reformat it. Well,
Yeah.
the problem
Do a
is though,
deep format, not
yeah,
not a quick
right,
format.
a deep
Yeah.
format. The problem is though, is it could still fail because if it failed once, it'll fail again. So it's not one you want to depend on. It's one you need to replace. But
Mhm.
at least you can get the information off of it so
Mhm.
that you can, and I talked to Greg last night and he said he's talking July or maybe August before he starts back up Oz by drone.
Wow.
He's
Wow.
well, he's planning on going to Denmark
Oh.
here this sometime in the spring or summer because that's where Coldflake lives, and he's been doing a
Oh.
lot of work. He's working for No Limit Drones now,
Right.
and he's going to go over there and they're going to work on some more stuff over there. So
Yeah, I changed it to no lemon drone.
that's true too.
But Lloyd's. Well, I mean, yeah.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, he
that's
could be
true. You're
like
right, Doc.
Stan Musial. Stan Musial. He's got his head frozen
Yeah,
through his
I
whole body.
think it's his whole body. No, there's one of them that has just their brain frozen, and I can't remember.
That might have been
And that
Walt
reminds me,
Disney.
I watched, and of course this is way off topic, but I've been binge watching Doctor Who because I want to catch up to where they finally get rid of the Princey Princess that is the social justice warrior that is the current Doctor Who. She's gone. She's going to die. They're going to kill her off, and they're going to bring in hopefully David Tennant back. There's a lot of rumors good, but we want to get rid of
hearing about that too. As
Chris
well.
Chibnall. Chris Chibnall, who is the idiot that turned it into the Powder Puff Girls. He is no longer with them either. So when he left, she left, and the rest of us in Whoville are saying yes. But anyways, I was watching one last night, and there's these people, and of course, they're called the Ood, and they have these like octopus-looking faces, and they have this thing coming out, and then they're holding this white glowing ball, and it's supposed to be a translator. Turns out that wasn't what was really attached to that in the beginning. That was their external brain, And I'm thinking, so they walked around with their brains in their hands, so they were a subservient type of people. But I'm sitting there thinking, I think that's what Biden's doing. He's walking around holding his brain in his hand, and somebody's replaced it with just a translator. They cut off his brain and put in a little translator so he can speak English, and that's not working. I think he's got a malfunction in his translator
it's
too.
called what is
A brain fart?
no the thing that he watches when he's giving us teleprompter.
The teleprompter, yes,
Yeah.
the teleprompter.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
speaking of sci-fi shows, I don't know if you've been watching Discovery. They had an overweight actress playing a character named Tilly. And I got to thinking the other day, and it's like, okay, so this starts prior to Captain Kirk on the USS Discovery. And it's like, wait a minute, this is like 200 years in the future, and there's still overweight people.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I thought by then they would have had something that would keep people from getting overweight. Because if you look at the old Star Trek series, there wasn't any fat people. The closest fat person was
Mr. Mudd.
Mr. Mudd.
Yeah, and the Tribbles, and yeah. Mudd was he was the only fat person I can say off the top of my head that I remember. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And but they're trying to be so inclusive on Discovery.
Yeah.
I watched the first season of it. I will say I watched 5 minutes of Picard, and I thought,
I actually Picard. I liked it because he brought back 7 of 9.
Right.
They were going after the Romulans because they were all up in arms about the synths, which is the like data synthetic.
Oh yeah, the synthetics. Yeah.
They were able. I think they were trying to communicate with the other synthetic life forms in another dimension, and he found out about this, and he had to stop them because they were even worse than the Borg.
Yeah.
Because
this show has gone off the rails, hasn't it?
To perfection, because that's what the Borg.
That's what the Borg wanted. Yeah, and see, I don't understand the Borg, because if they wanted perfection, they would have eliminated the human. They would have eliminated all the human parts, because human parts are fallible. They fail. The brains, the jaws, the skin, the flesh, all of it fails. The Borgs made absolutely no sense because they wanted us to assimilate, but that's not assimilation. That's just that's not full assimilation, because full assimilation, they would not have had any decayable parts.
That's true. Well, we better get back to politics, because we just lost
got 5 minutes left.
Half of our viewers.
Yeah, I know, right? That concludes the sci-fi edition of 3 Conservative Gimps.
So we talked about Ukraine,
right?
What's going on in Canada?
What else were we supposed to talk about on the show?
We talk a little bit about energy. How everything that Trump did, Biden undid.
Yeah,
and now
I knew that was
in real deep doo-doo.
Yeah,
it looks like a big red wave is about to ascend or descend upon the country. I found a really good YouTube channel, and I'm trying to let me bring this up real quick, and it's all about maps in Red Eagle Politics is the name of the channel.
Well, that's a new one. I haven't
got some really cool maps or analysis of different Senate races, governors races, primaries. He's got one called the governor's maps, and he's got one on the Senate races. So we may be able to gain 4 seats in the Senate,
Yeah,
which will
yeah.
give us 54 to what 46. Yeah,
46, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And
That'd
and
be
we
good. That we
yeah,
could put
we
the
need it,
brakes
but
on anything.
we need those 54 to be true conservatives, not rhinos. We got to get rid of the Mitt Romneys and his ilk.
But yeah, but here's
We
the
need
rub.
moderate conservatives.
We need every Republican. Otherwise, if we don't have those
Yeah.
people in our party, we'll still be in
Oh,
the minority.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. But we need people that have got well.
Well, like
w-
who Collins in Maine.
Okay.
She's not a far right. She's more
Yeah, I mean,
right center.
I don't think we need a far right, but I think we need somebody who is at least right of center, not
Yeah,
center and left, which is where Romney sits. He's very seldom. He's very, and he's not supportive of his whole party. I think we need to have a party, a group of senators that are supportive of the majority that they are part of.
right.
You know,
But you
and
gotta remember,
yeah,
he's
I
a
know
Mormon, and
he's a Mormon.
Mormons are more, uh, you know, people,
They
centric,
are social, yeah,
social
and
issues,
yeah,
and
they're big on social
they're
issues.
about helping people. So, all right, take care,
All right,
Chris.
take
Good to
care,
have
Chris.
you
Yeah, vive la revolution.
in. And that's where he's coming from. That's why
Yeah, and I
in
understand that, but we've got to have when we get a presidential candidate or a president who is in office, we need to understand that unless he does something so egregious, we can't just be jumping on the bandwagon for impeachment. That was
yeah,
that was
that's
sad.
true,
That
and
was
I agree
wrong.
with him. Yeah,
You know, uh, I mean, what Bill Clinton did was illegal, and
yeah.
he deserved to at least. But what? And it turns out now that all of the crap they talked about that Trump did was all fabricated by
Mm-hmm.
friggin' Hillary Clinton. That
Yep.
is now, and now she's being investigated. And so, I hope these Democrats or these Republicans that voted for voted
Impeachment.
for impeachment, I hope they finally pull their heads out of their backsides and realize they got played for fools. You
Well,
know,
Kinzinger in Illinois, who voted for impeachment, he's not running this year.
there's a yeah.
And uh, Liz Cheney is being primaried, and it's looking like she may lose that race. And I'm like,
Yes,
but
yes.
and
But
Romney, he's not up this year,
he's not
so
up this year. I'm
yeah.
not worried so much about Romney. It's just I thought his handling of Donald Trump because he didn't approve of
Mhm.
because Trump wasn't an ultra right wing conservative. That's the
He
thing.
really
He
wasn't a
wasn't.
conservative.
He was wrong. He was a Ronald Reagan conservative. He was of that little bit. I got to tell you, I was we've been going through and watching old movies. Okay, so I watched Iron Eagle last night. Haven't seen that in
Yeah.
years. It's one of my favorite films. Judy had made me shut up though because it was about the Air Force, and they were talking about loading out the weapons and stuff. Well, I'm was called a load toad. I loaded bombs. I loaded guns. I loaded missiles. So I knew all the armament that
And
was on there. When
sometimes
they
you were loaded.
occasionally, yes, yeah,
But that's
well, if I
another
did,
story.
that's another
Continue.
story. But anyways, so his father gets shot down, and well, they're not going to do nothing about it. Oh yeah, he says they'll do something about it. They'll do something about it. His friends were telling him this. There was a skinny little black kid was one of his friends, part of the Eagles as they called themselves. And he says, "What about Iran?" He says, "Oh, that was when Mr. Peanut was in charge." He says, "Now we got a guy in office that don't take shit from no one, and that's why they call him Mr. Ronnie Reagan." But what was funny is this black kid on there saying how much he supported Ronald Reagan. The actor was gay because in later movies he played a flaming one of those of different ilk, and but the fact that he was supporting Ronald Reagan as a teenager, it's like that's what we need. People that understand that we need a Ronald Reagan. We need another conservative with that balance, and we need that in our Congress and senators. There's 40 Democratic Congress people that are not running for re-election.
Yep, that's right.
I think the 40th one just announced the other day, and I can't remember who it was, but yeah,
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, it just popped up on my one of my things the other day. But yeah, so we need. I feel like I'm singing like Archie Bunker. We need a man like Herbert Hoover again, or whatever that was that he was singing. Well, we need a man like Ronald Reagan again. Yeah, no, it wasn't J. Edgar Hoover. It was Herbert Hoover, in Archie Bunker and Edith at the beginning of All in the Family. We need a man like Herbert Hoover again. No, J. Edgar Hoover was two different Hoovers. Herbert Hoover was the president.
Yeah.
Yeah, and J. Edgar was the queen of the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, getting back to Senate races, turns out Mark Kelly, senator from Arizona, he's vulnerable. So he may lose that seat. And it looks like we may win a Senate seat in Nevada.
Yes, I've been seeing that. Mark Kelly now, he
was the astronaut.
That's what I thought. It was his wife that was shot at the, while he was in space, I think. Gabby Gifford, yeah. Yeah, and I haven't heard anything about her, how she's doing or anything.
I think she passed away.
Did she really?
Let me see.
See, and that may be why I haven't. I don't remember. But I was pretty sure he basically took up politics because of what happened with her. He wanted to.
Yeah. Oh, okay. She resigned in 12 due to severe injuries. So
injuries,
she's still alive. Yeah. She's related to Gwyneth Paltrow, second cousin.
Oh, really? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least with Gwyneth Paltrow, she knows she's an airhead. That's the difference. But and I think what happened with Gabby Gifford, that was terrible. I mean, but I thought that's the reason Mark Kelly ended up going into politics. I wasn't sure that was him, but I was pretty sure it was. Mm-hmm. When you said Mark Kelly from Arizona, I'm going, and I couldn't remember her name. That's Gabby Gifford's husband. He was actually was he in space or did he go into space?
I think he was. He was a shuttle.
He was already up. He was already up there. He was up at the International Space Station.
Yep.
And yeah.
So in Nevada, that state is turning red now because it's pretty heavily union because of Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, they're full of unions.
A lot of people are flipping over to the Republican Party, and even California is becoming a little redder, mostly in the rural area.
Well, something I'm noticing in watching some of these trends, just I'm noticing a lot of unions in general. They're meat and potatoes guys.
But I don't think they could fire.
They can't fire
Miller.
her, Grant. What they can do, and what I see as a possibility, is putting her up as a Supreme Court nominee and
Yeah.
letting her become a Supreme Court justice,
Ooh, yeah.
because she would qualify as she's a woman, she's a
And she's
woman of
black.
color, yeah,
Yep.
or coca, mocha colored, anyways. She's a woman of color. She's she's a woman of color, and she has been a prosecutor, so she would be a good far left conservative or far left liberal.
Conservative.
Yeah, I know. What was I thinking? A far left liberal choice for the Supreme Court, and I honestly think that's what will happen. And everybody will say, "Oh yeah, let's get her the hell out of there," so that maybe they can get somebody who's a little closer to the center, maybe left of center, but a little closer to, away from the socialist, because the Democratic Party right now is trying to disavow themselves from that socialism. The mandates have been dropped in California. There's all, and this is the problem coming in this next election. If we don't stay on top of this, there's going to be all these Democrats that change their color just to get reelected.
Yeah.
And if we don't stay on top of this and keep reminding people about Afghanistan, keep reminding people of the high inflation, keep reminding people of the mandates and the loss of our privileges, if we don't stay on top of that until friggin' November, we will lose, because these Democrats know how to keep their power base.
Did you see what happened in San Francisco school board?
Yes. Is that where the
3 members were recalled?
Were voted out. Yeah, recalled. Yeah, including the president of the school board. Yeah. And, they're blaming it on white supremacists.
Yeah.
When all else fails, call them a white supremacist. Sorry.
I think it's more like Reich.
Yeah. But this is the American flag, not the Confederate flag. This is what I wear. And,
it doesn't cost a lot of, delayed process.
Yeah, it'll come up.
Well, you'll hear it in about 3, 2, 1.
What's causing that?
I don't know. It's like the first time I press that button, there's a delay of almost 10 seconds. Now listen. That was instantaneous. Or there, everything else, I don't know why there's a delay. But anyway, let's get back to politics.
Yeah.
We've used up our hour. Let's kind of close things out. It's looking really good for us in November, but you got to remember, Republicans will figure a way to
screw it up. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. They'll. Yeah. If anybody can fuck it up, it's the Republicans, because they are, and that's what I'm saying. We've got to stay on top of this. Yep. And whether it's here in the United States or whether it's in Australia or Canada, we've got to stay, because this is going to hurt Trudeau in Canada. We can't let that crap up.
Idiots that can't win races.
That's the biggest thing. Do not nominate. And because we've got to take back our country, or we've lost. Because I don't think it's going to make any difference on the president's policies. I think that idiot's going to be doing what he's doing until the day he takes his last breath, or until he's out of office. But if we have enough Republicans to override some of his crap, and we can force their hands, I think,
and maybe we could do what Newt Gingrich did and start sending, bills that after a few times that he rejects them, he'll finally sign them.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Those 2 of you in the chat that are watching, hey, thanks for watching us. Hopefully, I think Mike will be back next week. Thanks for episode 2 of season 1 of 3 Conservative Gimps. Thanks for coming. Have a great Sunday.
Thanks, Chris
God
Wedgworth.
bless you. And take it easy. Catch you next time.
Bye bye for now, folks.